So up here, I have my Tiefling Paladin in the background, behind the Drow Paladin, who is right here. We've got a lot of swords overlapping each other, all kinds of interactions going on. So this is the final battle of the good guys and the bad guys in this whole coloring book, and so the scenes are going to be a little bit crazy and kind of epic. But the character you can see over in the side panel there, that is the Tiefling Paladin. And I'm going to start by laying in some shapes here for her hair. She has I gave this character very curly hair. And so I'd want her hairline to not be like perfectly straight. I just want to kind of mix that up a little bit. And it's like dark curly hair, so it's got a lot of dark spots in it. But I want to leave some little areas where you can color in like whatever color you actually want to make it. And she has like ram's horns. Her tail has, well, her horns and her tails have that sort of spiky horn look to them. We'll have to put that in. I did already lay in most of her armor. All right. And then for the hair, like back here, I'm going to leave this mostly black. I'm going to leave a little bit of a highlight there. Some right in here. Just kind of want to leave some areas uh, that are sort of tight, but also have some that are kind of broken up. Okay. Now I'm going to go over to my reference page and I'm going to slide it over. Okay. Let me zoom in here. There we go. That's kind of a better uh, image of what the Tiefling Paladin is supposed to look like. So I'm going to get rid of some of my construction lines here. And we'll see what I can do. I think I actually left her eyes white, like she doesn't have any pupils. And let's see, she's got kind of big dark eyebrows. I think maybe we'll just darken in her eye sockets because she is so far back that you're not going to get a lot of details out of her. And then she does have ears. In this particular drawing, her ears are going to be mostly just lost in the sides of her face and with the horns. So I'm putting in this texture pattern on the horns. And here, we're going to make sure to shape them a little bit more. Okay. That's pretty good. And then she has this sort of I don't really want to call it a growth, but it is the horn actually goes up under her skin right here at her eyebrows. And maybe put a little bit of a line right there just to help emphasize that that is a form. Let's see. Same thing over here. But I think I actually drew the horn coming out kind of at the wrong angle. We can maybe adjust that just a little bit here. We'll just change up a little bit of what's hair and what's horn. Let me clean this out. Okay. I'm going to end that there, and I'm going to put some of this hair back in over here and just kind of carry some of it right up here around the horn. There we go. Then down here, put that together. All right. Okay. I think we need some better snarling mouth on this character. And given the angle, I think you'll see, well, yeah, we'll just leave her teeth in there. I'm going to do that for now. Refine that. I might not want to show the teeth at all, like not separate them, just because at that small of a size, it looks funky. Okay. We'll try bringing her cheekbones in a little bit and make sure that we can see the edges of her face. And I want to round out her chin some more. I don't want to make her too masculine. I want her to be still identifiable as female, even though she's all angry and demonic. There we go. And let's see. I feel like, I don't know, like her chin line is just too tough, or her jawline. Let's try shrinking that back out. So we got that big, heavy black line going on right there. Maybe that's part of what's going on here. And I think I kind of want to round off the back here, so it's not quite so much of an angle. And I don't know, I think it's this. There's a lot of little things going on right here that are making her look less attractive than I want her to. Hmm. Let me try. It's probably not going to work, but I'm going to try widening this a little bit. Still don't like it. What if... Okay. I think ultimately it's like her face is just too wide. So maybe I should try to jot in the ears a little bit there too. So let's cut back, and she does have like um pointy ears. The thing is that they come back behind all of this. So her ear would be like right there. And the other one would be over here, if you see it at all. Hmm. Yeah, I also um, stretch these out more than I think I usually do. That's part of it. So, you know what? Let's just work with what we got here. And to just smooth out this chin line a little bit more. All right, I think that's just gonna be how it is. And putting in that neck collar piece. All right. Let me see how this is looking, though. If we zoom out, I mean, you know, she's way back there with her big horny horns. All right, let's go ahead and put her armor together. So she has shoulder pads, which, like most of my stuff, I like to put that little rolled edge on the armor. And then she has these blades that come up out of her armor. And so it's like this big disc razor blade kind of thing, but it has spikes of blade, and the center is the tallest spike. And that design is repeated throughout her outfit in certain places, like her gauntlets and her knee pads. Okay, so over here, that piece would be right around here. And we're going to have it arc to about right there. So there's the center spike and the little spikes. Okay. Let's see. Next thing. With her arms, I turned this arm upside down, and this one is going out flat. But I drew that part of the armor the opposite way. So here we've got her gauntlet. So let me just go ahead and clean this out real quick. Okay. And she has one of these razor blade pieces here. They actually kind of go all the way to the bottom of the gauntlet, sort of like a wristband looking piece. But here's where the tall spike of it is. Here's where the little one is. And another little one here. Now, if you're just coming in and seeing what I'm doing with this coloring book, this is the penciling stage. So I'm sketching out the page. I'm using a somewhat less opaque brush with lower flow, so it kind of looks like pencil, and I have to build things up. But after I'm done penciling the pages, I come back with a dark black brush that's 100% opaque with 100% flow, and I do what's essentially like a ink on over the lines. Just finalize everything, clean it all up, make it as nice as possible for the actual coloring page that I will be using in the book. Okay. So, looking at where we're at right here, let's go ahead and get this hand in. So I put her knuckles up here. Let me clean these out so that I can see what I'm doing. All right. So we don't want to separate her fingers all the way up through the knuckles because that's not how they work. All right, so we got 4 fingers. I've got them dark here on the bottom side where her fingers are curving around the pole. And then her thumb would be down here. And we will clean out that little bit of the pole. Maybe a little bit of that finger. All right. And technically, you're not going to have any of this part of the arm here. Okay, and so we will go ahead and just put that in there. I want to clear this out so that any of that armor that's still visible stays light and colorable. Okay, we need to have some thickness to this end. The easiest way to do these lines is with the line tool. So let me go ahead and put that line in and put another one right over here. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and merge those layers down so I can actually like erase parts of them. All right. Because we don't want that line or that line or that line or that one. All right. And then over here, so you want to make sure this is cleared out of everything that doesn't belong in there. So this is a really long pole, like a staff, but it has these huge weighted balls with spikes on the ends of them, on either end. Um, let's see. Now another thing is the gnome paladin, or the gnome barbarian. Sorry, he's swinging his sword across there, so her sword is not going to show, or her staff won't show through that because she's behind him. And down here, her arm is up. Okay, so I've got. Oops, I'm still on the line tool. Let me go back to the brush. And let's see where I've got knuckles here. Let me go ahead and clean those up a little bit so I can actually get to them. So that's like one digit there, second digit across here. And then the thumb is back here. All right. And I can trim that down. I went a little bit far with the hand. That's okay. Little adjustments. All right. And so we're getting into this area where I've got so much stuff going on. It's getting a little hard to see what should be what. We got to kind of clean all that up and refine it. Not sure if I mentioned it. I think I did. There are skeletons that are coming up out of the ground. They are being summoned by the goblin wizard that's in the background, doing his lightning necromancer type thing. And basically, the good guys are trying to destroy those skeletons along with fighting off the bad guys as quickly as possible. Alright. I'm going to go down to the background and I'm going to mask it off. Now, this brush is still light, so it's not going to be like a one stroke thing to get rid of stuff. But I want to get rid of some of the background type stuff that's in this area that should not be showing. And go back to my paladin, take my brush back down to about 5. Alright, now we've got the spiked ball here. I'm going to go ahead and sketch this all the way through the Drow Paladin. And let's see, yeah, that's pretty good. We'll take that out because the ball is actually out here in front of the shaft of this pole. And we're going to go ahead and put one big spike right here. Then a somewhat smaller spike right here. Maybe it's not really that much smaller in this one. Okay. Let's see. Another one would go right about here. And of course, that's going to be mostly lost inside this other paladin's armor. So we will clear out some of these lines. We'll go ahead and clear out this circle sketch that I made through there because you're not going to see that at all. And we will clean out this bit that's in the other paladin's sword. But then I will put, I could put another spike over here, but it's just overlap and it's not going to look very good, I think. We're going to go ahead and take out this line. I've got a lot of sketchy lines here, which I think, in fact, let me go ahead and turn off that paladin. All right. So that helps us to see a little bit better here. Like where this paladin's the forms are. 'Cause this would be her knee here, going back to her calf, down to her foot, which I believe was meant to be something like this. And let me put the other paladin back in. All right, so we'll see that foot. That we need to put that in there. All right, let me move this up a bit. So she has these knee pads that are just big circles. And they have that blade thing on them as well. Let's see, this knee is right here. So her big circular knee pad would be right here. And of course her calf comes out of there and down here. I made her boot go a bit too high, or too low, actually. It should be more like right here. And then drop down. So we can clear this out. All right. And then she wears chainmail, the same, well, similar to the Dro Paladin. Oh, good. Put some rings here around the edges. All right. And we'll sketch the bottom of this boot in a little bit darker. Maybe carry some shadow down here. Do some wrinkles. And then for this leg, same thing. Got this boot and it flares out like so. And that comes down to her ankle, or her heel. She has some actual short heel on these boots. And we're going to go ahead and level this leg out over this way. And I have made her toes way too pointy there with my first pass. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Now these circle knee pads actually go around her leg. They are like a formed type of thing. Some chainmail here. And then her thigh armor there. Like full plate armor on her thighs. We'll put that blade on this knee pad over here. And we'll go ahead and curve this a little bit downward. So it's there, and there, and there. And like I said, we've got a lot of overlap right here, so the Paladin is coming over a lot of that stuff. And so let me go ahead and I'm going to do a layer mask here because I don't want to erase it all again. And I don't know if I saved. I probably did not. No, I did not. Okay. So I'm going to do just a quick lasso tool inside the Drow Paladin because it's whatever is on this tiefling that happens to be inside this character I want to get rid of right now. But I'm not actually getting rid of it, I am just hiding it. So I'm going around the sword form. Through the hand, and I don't have to have it completely perfect. I just want to make sure that I get the main areas here. Okay, we're going to come back along the sword here. And then go along the forearm as best I can. Coming back to the body. And that's a good start. Where? All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and save that selection for now. All right. That way, I can come back and select that area again if I need to, or I can even add to that selection, add the rest of the character to it if I need to clear out more stuff. But I think we're doing pretty good. We need to put in, let's see, let me turn off the Drow Paladin again. All right, so looking at this, all right, this is the boot. Now see, it is masked right now, so anything that was right there where I just told it we can't draw there, you can't draw there. So just kind of figure out what you got going on here with what area is left. Put some stuff in there. We can turn that character back on. We've got the tail to put on here, which the tail is there, but no details in it, like what I did with the horns. So let me go to the background again. And I'm just going to brush out the background stuff here along in the inside of that tail. And I think most of what's there is actually on the skeletons. Okay, that's not on the skeleton. That might actually be on the human wizard. So I think I mixed up a little bit of stuff that belongs. Yeah, I did. Okay. So some of the skeleton debris and stuff I actually put on the human wizard lair because he's the one shooting the fireballs to damage them. Alright, back to the paladin. Take my brush down to 5. And we're doing the texture in her tail now. I'll just pick a point here. So I actually made her tail kind of like unicorn horn, the way that it looks at some angles. I'm just going to go ahead and do sort of this rotating line. Get it to go down the center here. Maybe put it over here. Maybe even just have it wrap like so. That's all it really needs in this particular image. And we can clean out that part of the pole. All right. And we have another spiked ball to draw up here. Now this one is actually going to be where we can see what's going on with the connections here. So from the pole, we have a nice fat ring. And then we have this bigger, fatter ring type thing that's helping to connect the whole thing together. I think like that should be good. And then my circle is, of course, to flat and oval for that form. So we're going to go ahead and clear that out and try to make a new one. All right. So let's just say that the circle actually terminates in here. And just kind of try to arc this around in a generally circle shape. It really doesn't have to be perfect as long as it looks reasonable. That should do. And I'm going to make this as dark as I can right now, so that it's not mixed up with anything else. Now I'm going to come back in here and just clean out some of these sketch lines. Now we've got background stuff showing through there, sketchy lines from the tapestries and stuff in the background. So I'm going to go ahead and brush that area out a bit. Okay. And right here we actually have some, it's the Goblin Wizard. That's going to be his magic that's crossing through right there. There we go. Back to the Paladin again. We got to get her ball spikes together here. So the same general layout here. I'm going to put one big one here in the center. Not like too insanely big, but pretty big. That's essentially just a cone with a rounded base. Then I've got a somewhat smaller one over here. A somewhat smaller one over here. Again here. These should all be roughly the same size. And then I've got one back here, one back here, and one on the top. And that'll do it. So now I can clean up my sketch lines from inside these spike shapes. Okay. And nothing's really overlapping them too much to the point where I need to clean them out further. I can work with that. Okay. Is there anything else that I need to put on this character? I think that does it. Although I don't really like her hair. Not that much. Let's see if we can maybe break this up just a bit more. It's feeling a little too, I don't know, clumpy and uniform. Okay. That should be the end of that right there. All right. I guess that'll do. So now let's go ahead and let me look at this again. Let's jump to the skeletons. Is my background at 100%? Yes, it is. Okay. So now we're going to do some skeletons. And I already sketched them in roughly here. They don't need to be real nice because they're literally being blown apart. And let's see, brush size of 5. So I've got bone fragments in the air. Let's see, I've got skeleton eyes, skull eyes, skull nose, skull mouth with teeth. They need to have teeth, at least some. So I can just come in here and pop these back out. Again, I will be coming through here and inking the drawing later. But for right now, we're just doing the pencil stage, getting the general look and feel down, trying to keep it relatively clean. Okay. So I'm just finalizing the lines of this skeleton, his skull here. And let's see, we've got some teeth here. Yeah, more background stuff. Okay, in fact, let's just turn off the background right now. Don't need it. So, working on this skeleton, I'm going to go ahead and fill his mouth in with black. And maybe even just do that. All right. Now, because of this, I'm going to go ahead and just clean him out of that blade. And as I said before, there's some of the skeleton stuff is on the skeleton layer. Some of it is on the human wizard layer, which was a mistake that I apparently made, and now we just have to deal with it. So I'm making sure to put some of this broken debris out here at the moment. And let's go ahead and jump over here to the human wizard layer instead. And basically, let's create some fire. I want some loose flames out here, I think. And I'm going to take the fire right out of that sword. There we go. That helps. Since this is literally like a fireball disintegrating this skeleton. And let's see. I am not a fan of that actual circle that I've got in there with this line, but we're using that as a guide to help place everything. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and put some fire right here. And maybe some more fire here. Trying to create these little flame shapes. Or, yeah. And then over here, I want to do a curve like that. Mm. There we go. And get rid of some more of this circle. And let's see over here. All right. Now I'm just cleaning up whatever else happens to be on that layer. So we can get this and simplify it a little bit. Okay. We'll go ahead and carry this down the line here. So instead of having just that simple rectangle or simple line traveling from the wizard to the skeleton. It's essentially this big column of flame. So it might not actually be like a fireball itself, but it is fire magic. Clean that line out of there. And put some right here. Clean a bunch of that out. And let's see, I want to have this one curving like both ways. And then flaring right there. Lots of fire. I'm not sure why, but this particular wizard, he kind of seems to be partial to fire. I think of the few times he's shown his magic throughout this book, it's mostly been fire. Just a little bit of a pyromaniac, I guess. All right. And then that's an arm on the gnome barbarian. Don't need any of the wizard stuff going through his body. And I don't think we need to keep anything down here. Or over there. And that's going to wrap that part up. So let's zoom out again. All right, now we got this fire shooting from the wizard back into this skeleton that's being decimated. Time to get back on the skeleton layer and just kind of put him together the rest of the way. Alrighty. Kidoki. We'll put an arm bone right here. I'm going to shrink my eraser down a bit so that I can do some more subtle things when it comes to erasing. And let's see. I'm going to go ahead and clear out his entire rib cage right here, since it is engulfed in flames. I'm going to get rid of that too. So there might be some bits here that are a little harder to decipher than others. But that should be kind of part of the fun too, I think. All right, this is a kneecap. Leg bone. I don't want to make it too smooth. And then, while this should technically be background, I think I'm just going to leave it as part of the skeletons because it's literally the parts that they are affecting themselves. So they are breaking up through this floor, creating rubble and destruction. So a mix of dirt and stone, broken stones, as they just kind of force their way up through the floor. And then, let's see. We'll go ahead and put his other kneecap like right back over here. Give him a leg. Put this bone up here. And clear out some of the sketchy stuff. And actually, I don't like that. So this thing, his pelvis would then be somewhere around here. So I could potentially put that knee like right there. Bring that leg down. Same as that one. And this one could end up being hooked over here. And I think that was an arm, but I'm going to just take it out since it's kind of getting lost over there. Yeah. In fact, we'll pretty much just be saying that the skeleton has been obliterated. Okie dokie. Now over here, is this on my skeleton's layer to begin with? Yes, it is. All right. So I'm going to have some rubble over here. There was a skeleton that popped up out of the ground right there. And maybe he's not in the best of shape because he's actually over here with his arm grabbing onto the wizard. Like he might have had to drag himself out of that hole. All right. And that is the wizard's robe right there. I'm going to darken that line on this layer. And I'm going to throw a little bit more rubble back here. Make this less than, so it's not like super level. All right. And then, yeah, the skeleton arm. Don't need it over here in the dwarf fighter. But I'm going to go ahead and do some finger bones here. shrink down my eraser so I can clean these out. And because of where we're at and the amount of stuff, I'm just gonna clear out that little part of the wizard. Okay, do another finger bone right here, fingertip here. And in fact, these fingertips might be kind of pressing into the cloth of the wizard's leg. Give it just a nice little bit of interaction right there. Well, technically, the wizard does not have cloth for his legs, but he is wearing pants, so that's what I mean. Let's see. Here's another finger and another one. All right. And this last one needs to be a little bit wider. Made that just a wee bit too narrow. And where am I going? Right here. Back to the wizard. Oh, wrong side of that. There we go. Now, part of the reason that I'm even bothering to keep these layers separated like this is so that if I find a problem, like I look at it and I don't like the way things flow, which I've actually been tweaking that as I went early on in this page. But if I had a problem, I could still move everybody individually and rearrange things until I was happy with it. I started out the book doing things kind of this way because I was initially thinking about being able to just duplicate a pose or like reuse a pose from one page on another, but I really don't like that idea, and so I'm not doing that. Every page of this book is literally drawn from scratch, new poses every time. And I'm trying to make as many of them as interesting as possible so that, it's not like coloring the same picture over and over again. Alright, got that skeleton hand. We have one more skeleton to deal with here, I think. Got that one, got that one. Yeah, this one down here that's getting like a magic missile, I think. Well, 3 of them to be precise. So we will go ahead and do him up here. Now, let's see. He is essentially face down on the floor. He's got a nice big cranium here. And give him some nose there. And maybe even bring out some curve here for where his upper jaw would be. I'm not sure about putting any teeth on that, but that's generally what I want. Get him some kind of big eyebrow ridges here. So I mean, he might be a species we haven't seen yet. He might even be like extra old, something that was buried here, or like before this place was even there. Maybe even before the society that's around now even walked the earth. When you're calling dead stuff up out of the ground, who knows what you might get? You know, the most common thing you think about are like the recent warriors and whatnot, but you could get all manner of things out of that. And I'm going to go ahead and put a crack in his skull here, just to kind of help, what do you call it, reinforce what you're even looking at, because I know that is an odd angle to be seeing a skeleton from, especially if he's got some slightly strange anatomy. Okie dokie. Let's see. I'm going to go right here. And right. I'm going to give him a nice big muscle form, like, or not muscles, bone form, like a, kind of like a shoulder blade there. The other one's coming across right here. So let's clean this area out. And this one. And then here, I should have some broken ribs. Yeah, maybe another one here. Over here, let's see. We could have some spine coming across here, like so. And we'll just kind of bring him out like that. And again, with this one, I'm not even sure I want to make it human, so I'm just kind of going to slap some stuff in there and, you know, let people decide for themselves what they're really looking at with this thing. And let's see, over here. Okay. Now we're getting into this area where we're going to have some overlap between the goblin barbarian and this skeleton. The skeleton is actually in front of him. And let's see. I made that arm joint like way too big. That's a little bit better. And then the dwarf ranger here with her hand out, that's actually in front of him. So we're just kind of making all the little interactions right here from, so everybody kind of looks like they occupy their own little piece of space. Okay, there's that. And there's this. more finger bones, and these are, of course, going into the bell cup of a saber or rapier. It's not really a rapier because rapiers are thin and narrow, long and narrow, thin blades, mainly for stabbing or, a quick pierce and then, do it again and again and again. This is, a saber or like a big curved blade, mainly made for slashing. And let's see, we're going to bring this right here and then swell that up like so. Now just clear out some of the sketch lines from in here. Okay. And I don't think I like it going out quite that far. Just kind of round it off right here. Maybe make sure we round it off back here some too. That should do. And let's see, I can even edge that across there. Give that part some thickness. All right, and let's get the blade in here. So first I'm just going to put in the overall stroke of the blade here. Nice large curving scimitar type blade. Okay. And you're not going to see a whole lot of it because a lot of it is hidden by magic and other things that are going on. So the bits that we can see, we want to make sure that they are kind of chopped up, chunky looking, like something old and junky. Because he didn't just forge this thing in the ground underneath this building. It's been laying there for a long time and was probably hard used in life too. Alright. So, let me get rid of some of these bigger areas. That's inside the dwarf. This is inside the magic. This is inside the magic. And so is this. And so is this. There we go. Oh, and then that is the dwarf right there. And right here too, I think. Yeah. Okay. So we'll just kind of keep going at it here. That'll do. And even this piece over here could have, say, like some dings in it. Maybe even some sort of a crack. And, oh, another thing that I've forgotten about, we've got the meteor rock over here. So, yeah, most of this bell, you're not even going to see that because that is behind the cleric and her meteor rock. There we go. But we can go ahead and put a ding right here. Shape that back out right there. And Nice little crack running back here. Deepen the fissure for a little bit of a spot there. There we go. So now we've got this magic to deal with. Now, how do I want to handle the magic from this thing? Alright, so I'm going to pick my spots a little bit better. Well, yeah, so I'm going to put this spot here. This is essentially, I'm going to redo some of this stuff to make my magic hit in 3 distinct locations, and I don't like that one. I want to have sort of a feel to this that's a little bit different. I don't want them to be all in a straight line necessarily, so I think I'm going to put this one right back there where it's kind of up like that, and this one, you know what, with this one, let's change it up so he's not hitting back here at all. I'll get rid of that. We'll actually go ahead and put it right here in the side of his head. Alright. Too violent. So now, oops, shoot. Okay. I forgot. I am literally working on the wizard layer, so if I go crazy with erasing up here, I am erasing the wizard that I spent all that time drawing earlier in the sessions. We don't want to do that. Alright, and we're going to go with the line tool just to make this clean and simple. So I'm going from this fat circle in the hand over to here. I'm going to go ahead and completely compress these lines wherever I originate them from. So let me do this one. Okay. We're going to go ahead and merge those together. And now on my wizard layer, let me see how this is looking over here. Okay, so those are coming together very tight. In fact, they're coming together too tight. All right. It's a good idea, but it didn't work out right. So, okay. That's not bad. How's that going to look? All right. Now they are a little bit more separated. That I can work with. And merge that. Okay. This is the slightly tricky part. Okay. That's pretty good. This, at the moment, looks like he's shooting this ray like right out of the skin of his hand, which is kind of gross looking. And I kind of like it, but that's not really what we're going for here. All right. So we clean these areas out. And then they are literally making their hit there. So I can get rid of this bit over here that was like an explosion where nothing is hitting now. I can clean up this one and that one. Now let's go ahead and do these like explosion lines. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of create a circle around here. And let's see, I don't like that one. So now we are just putting in this burst of energy where the magic actually makes contact with the skeleton. And I gotta go back to the skeleton layer and clear out that chunk of debris because we don't need it right there. And I'm gonna go ahead and clean this out too on the skeleton layer. And that. I'm gonna take that out, take this out, get rid of that. Okay, that should do. Go back to the wizard. So here, I'll put a little half circle here. And do some bursts. And clean this out a little bit. And we gotta go back to the skeleton to clean out some of the other stuff. Alright. Alright. Same thing over here. Last piece. A little rounded burst area. And clean out the insides. And clean up some of the skeleton in there. Okay. And that should do. Except for back at the hand. Gotta go fix that now. So instead of making this look like it is literally like shooting right out of some rupture in his hand, I'm going to get rid of some of this. Get rid of some of this. And we're going to go ahead and wrap this up in a nice little ball. A happy little ball of magic, just like that. And maybe, let's see. We can do some effects here that might transcend past the immediate area. Don't want one up there, really. Okay. So you got some strange magic particle effect going on there. And what else do we need? Oh, I need to turn the background back on. There's that. And I do believe we've pretty much got everything laid in. You go to the background, and sketch in some fold lines along this drapery. This one, that one's got them. And we can just clean this thing up a little bit. Okay. So we don't want background right here in the explosive fire of that skeleton, or coming through this hand and fire. Or that sword. And you don't really need it coming through the wizard. Anything else? And so I have one more, not a skeleton so much, but I have a bit of ground right here that's tore up. We can go ahead and add that in. Nothing too fancy. Just some rough forms to help suggest that something is messed up over here. Okay. That'll do it. And something else here. The elf cleric. We'll do that. Maybe just fill that bit with black. All right. I think we are good to go with this one on the pencils. Everything seems to be there. And it should look even better once it gets inked. And of course, coloring it would be really cool. So I might even color that one myself for like my video title for next week. But we'll see. So let's close this one down after I save it. I need to save a copy of it for my Patreon. So full size PNG file. And I need to save one for the web, which is just going to be a JPEG. Oh, okay, that actually put that over there. And then, okay. And my web image is very small, only 500 pixels tall. All right. Now we can close this down. It's going to ask if I want to save it again. I can close down the Tiefling Paladin. And I think, what do I got here? Page 26 and 27. Spread, battle scene, skeleton warriors, magic. So I haven't even done the thumbnail sketches for this page yet. But I intend to make it 2 pages. So let me save this as 26 and 27. Spread. So if my page is 8.5 by 11, it's going to be 17 by 11. And so I just want to go with, I'm going to go ahead and make it, yeah, we'll make it fit exactly right. Oh, wait. We don't want to make it relative. We want to make it 17. Did I screw that up? Okay. No, that was good. The only problem I have is that I put stuff, or I stretched it out on both sides instead of just doing it on the one side. Okay. We're going to go ahead and turn the layout off. I'm going to take this stuff over here. I'm going to duplicate it. Okay. All right. So I'm going to have to end up terminating my stream here because I need to go ahead and thumbnail this. So that's not going to be any fun to watch while I sit here and scribble little tiny pictures. But what we're going to do is a spread page. So essentially one half of this page is going to be page 26. The other half is going to be page 27. And I'll make sure to leave a little bit of a line or a separation there so I can separate them later on for putting them together as part of a book. But yeah, thanks for coming and watching. Hope you enjoyed watching the work on the page. And yeah, I'm going to export the video to my YouTube channel. So if you happen to be seeing this on YouTube, go ahead and like and subscribe to that channel. Also, my pictures are, like I said, I saved a full-size copy of this pencil sketch. That is available to my patrons, or it will be here in like 2 minutes, in case they wanted to download the pencil sketch. But when I do the inked pages, those are also made available to them at full size, 300 pixel per inch resolution. And the same is true like when I do paintings, um, any kind of illustrations that I do. Usually I don't even work digital. This is a special project. Um, but yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thank you for coming, and I hope to see you tomorrow when I attempt to make it home in time to stream from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m.